One of the most effective tactics of the enemy is to tempt us to bury the stuff we're struggling with and not to talk about it. When this happens, the things that we're dealing with and struggling with, whether they be sins or whether they be problems that we're just dealing with, they tend to fester and to grow into something unmanageable, causing us way more stress than necessary. But the very act of speaking these things, speaking them to another person, like a priest, for example, in confession, or some other spiritual guide, the very act of speaking them with words, that often brings about an instantaneous release of tension, as well as gives the problems we're dealing with much less power over us. This is St. Ignatius's rule number 13, the power of speech. And the reason is because talking out a problem, or speaking it out, or a sin, that brings that sin or that problem into the light. And if there's anything that the devil hates and flees from, it's the light. In today's gospel, Jesus tells his disciples the bad news of him suffering and dying. I won't get into how bad that news was for the apostles. All I will say is that it was the most stressful thing they ever heard up to that point. What's interesting is that the Bible says the apostles were afraid to ask him about it. They were afraid to bring it up. In other words, they kept silent about it. I wonder what would have happened if they spoke about it with Jesus, if they vocalized their concern about it to Jesus. It probably wouldn't have changed the outcome of things. So Jesus would have suffered and died, as he predicted, but it may have given the apostles a sense of greater peace and greater resolution to face the problems ahead. So that's a tool that you can put into your spiritual arsenal and to keep in mind from time to time. Good things happen and evil flees when we bring our problems and sins into the light by speaking them.